Happy morning, children. Welcome to the biology session. This is part 2, unit 23, economic biology. So in the part 1 session, we have discussed about the definitions of pomology, floriculture. Happy morning, children. Welcome to the biology session. This is part 2, unit 23, economic biology. So in the part 1 session, we have discussed about the definitions of pomology, floriculture, then about floriculture, then vegetable forcing, landscape gardening, manuring, biofertilizers, and some of the types of biofertilizers, and also about medicinal plants. So today we will discuss about the rest of the other plant cultivations. So at first, in the beginning, we will see about mushroom cultivation. So mushroom cultivation, it is a technology of growing mushrooms using plants, animals and industrial waste. In short, it is wealth out of waste technology. So this technology has gained importance worldwide because of its dietary fibers and protein value. So why do we grow mushroom? Because of its worldwide importance, the dietary fibers and protein value. So mushroom is a fungi. It is a fungi belonging to Basidiomycetes. It is rich in proteins, fibers, vitamins and minerals. So there are other more than 3000 types of mushrooms. Example, button mushroom, that is Agaricus bisporus, then oyster mushroom, pleurotus, then paddy straw mushroom, Wolvessia. The cultivation takes 1 to 3 months, and major stages of mushroom cultivation are explained here now. So first we will see the cultivation. How do we cultivate mushrooms? So there are 4 to 5 methods of cultivating this mushroom. So the first step will be composting. Okay, so preparing compost for the growth of mushroom. So compost is prepared by mixing paddy straw with number of organic materials like cow dung and inorganic fertilizers. It is kept at about 50 degrees Celsius for 1 week. So what is composting? It is prepared by mixing paddy straw, waste of the paddy, with a number of organic materials like cow dung and inorganic fertilizers. So we use both organic and inorganic fertilizers to prepare this compost, and it is kept at about 50 degrees Celsius for 1 week. Then next step is spawning. So what is spawning? It's a mushroom seed. Spawn is the mushroom seed. It is prepared by growing fungal mycelium. So how do we get that seed? It is prepared by growing fungal mycelium in grains under sterile conditions. The spawn is sown on compost. So third one is casing. So what is casing? It is covered. Compost is covered within a thin layer of soil. It gives support to the growing mushroom, provides humidity and helps regulate the temperature. Then pinning. Pinning is mycelium starts to form little bud which will develop into mushroom. So those little white buds are called pins. So after compost, spawning and casing, mycelium starts growing into little buds. Okay. So those buds are called as pins. So that method is called as pinning. The next one is harvesting. Mushrooms goes better in 15 degrees Celsius to 23 degrees Celsius in a very less temperature. They grow 3 cm in a week, which is normal size for harvesting. In the third week, the first flush mushroom can be harvested. So in the third week, we can harvest the mushroom. It grows under 15 degrees Celsius to 23 degrees Celsius and grows for 3 cm in a week. Preservation. Discoloration, weight and flavor loss are the main problems during harvesting mushrooms. So the following methods are used to increase their life. So what are the methods? These may be asked in 2-mark question. Okay, the following methods are used to increase their life. So the first one is freezing, drying, canning, vacuum cooling, gamma radiation and storage at 15 degrees Celsius. So these are the methods that is used to increase their life. Okay. So next is hydroponics. hydroponics. So hydro means what? Water. The hydroponics is the method of growing plants without soil. So what is hydroponics? We are going to grow the plants without the help of the soil, only using some of the nutrients and along with the water. So the container using mineral nutrient solutions in water. So the containers are made of glass, metal or plastic. They range in size from small pots for individual plants to huge tank for large scale growing. It was demonstrated by a German botanist Julius von Sachs in the year 1980. Hydroponics is successfully employed for the commercial production of seedless cucumber and tomato. So which plants were grown first? Cucumber and tomato for the commercial production. Plants are suspended with their roots submerged in water that contain plant nutrients. So the roots absorb water and nutrients but do not perform the anchoring function. So therefore the plants must be mechanically supported from above. So if we grow the plants in soil, soil will give the physical support for the plants. But here we are not using the soil. So we are using only nutrients that is mixed with the water. So for that we need some mechanical support for the plants. Okay. So the importance of hydroponics. Conservation of water and nutrients. Controlled plant growth, and in deserts and Arctic regions hydroponics can be effective alternative method. So this is the diagram how the apparatus were designed. So this is a glass jar and you have water, nutrients inside it, air stones. Air stone is connected to air pump and you have one more nutrient pump which is connected to the tray where the plants are grown here, and you have drip wires, okay, drip lines and the dripper method. This water, it will sprinkle the water on the plants. Then you have a timer and you have a grow tray, and this is the reservoir. Okay, so nutrient in turn will return back to the water again. After the nutrients were used by the plants, it will return back to the water. So this is the setup for hydroponics. Without soil, using only nutrient water, we grow the plants. The next one is aeroponics. So what is aeroponics? Aeroponic system is the high-tech type of hydroponic gardening. A growth medium in this type is primarily air. It is here mainly we use air. The roots hang in the air and are misted with nutrient solution. The misting is usually done for every few minutes. Misting is usually done for every few minutes. Misting means spraying like. Okay, so when the hair is floating in the air, the roots of the plant when floats in the air, the misted nutrient solution is being misted, okay, through the pipe set over in the setup after it in a particular time period. So the roots will dry out rapidly if the misting cycles are interrupted. So a timer controls the nutrient pump much like other types of hydroponic systems, except that the aeroponic system needs a short cycle timer that runs the pump for a few seconds every couple of minutes. So this is the setup for aeroponics. So you have a nutrient pump, water with nutrients and a reservoir, mist nozzle which spreads the water for the hanging roots. So the roots are hanging here. And you have a timer for the setup, okay, which will help the nutrient to mist the nutrient to the roots. So next is aquaponics. Aqua means what? The system of a combination of conventional aquaculture with hydroponics and a symbiotic environment in which plants are fed with the aquatic animals. Aqua means water. Hydro means also water. So excreta are waste. So these waste are broken down by nitrifying bacteria initially into nitrites and later into nitrates that are utilized by plants as their nutrients. So this is the basic thing which was done by the plants roots. So nitrites get converted to nitrates. Okay, this is the utilized by the plant. These are the nutrients utilized by the plants. So thus the waste are utilized and water is recirculated back to the aquaculture system. So aquaponics consists of two main parts: aquaculture for raising aquatic animals like fish and hydroponics for raising plants. Green leafy vegetables like Chinese cabbage, lettuce, basil, coriander, parsley, spinach, and vegetables like tomatoes, capsicum, chilies, bell peppers, sweet potato, cauliflower, broccoli, and eggplant can be grown in aquaponic method. So this is the picture for aquaponics. This is the picture for aquaponics. Very simple construction. You have a jar-like structure where you can grow even fish. Okay. So the nutrient is applied to the plants over there. So this is aquaponics. So next is dairy farming. Dairy farming. Okay. Dairy means milk. So we get milk from animals. So we are going to study about animals now. So dairy farming involves raising of cattle for milk production. It involves the proper maintenance of cattle along with the collection and the processing of milk and milk products which are useful to man. Dairying is the production and marketing of milk and its products. So first we are going to see about cattle products. You all know very well how does this dairy farming have been done. You would have studied in the lower class. So just we will have a glance about it. So the Indian cattle include cow and buffalo. These are domesticated for milk, meat, leather and transportation. They belong to two different species. Bos indicus, that is Indian cows and bulls, and Bos bobalis, that is buffaloes. So these cattle animals are reared for milk and farm labor. They are classified into three types: dairy breeds, draft breeds and dual purpose breeds. Draft breeds, dairy breeds and dual purpose breeds. So what are dairy breeds? So here the animals which give milk. Okay, such type of animals, cows, are called as dairy breeds. Okay, so milk animal, they are otherwise called as milk animals which yield high milk. Okay, so the cows are milk producing females, the cows. Okay, so the dairy animals are domesticated for obtaining milk. The dairy breeds are indigenous breeds, exotic breeds. Indigenous breeds and exotic breeds. So what are the types of dairy breeds? Okay, indigenous breeds and exotic breeds. So what are indigenous breeds? These are the native of India, include Sahiwal, Red Sindhi, Deoni and Gir. Okay, so milk production depends on the duration of the lactation period. Lactation period means the period of milk production. The period of milk production after the birth of a calf. So these local breed animals shows excellent resistance to diseases. So what is exotic breeds? These are Bos Taurus imported from foreign countries. They include Jersey, Brown Swiss and Holstein, Friesian, etc. These foreign breeds are selected for long lactation periods. Okay. So next is draft. What is draft breeds? They are used for agricultural work, only for agricultural work such as tilling, irrigation and carting. And the animals included here are Amarth Mahal, Kangeyam, Umbalacheri, Malvi, Siri and Halikar breeds. So bullocks are good draft animals while the cows are poor milk yielders in this draft breeds. So next is dual purpose breeds. The cows which are the animals which are used both for cattle breeds as well as the draft breeds. Okay. So what are the dual purpose breeds? So the cows of these breeds provide milk and bulls are useful for farm work also. In India, these breeds are favored by farmers. They include Haryana, Ongole, Kankuraj and Tarparkar. Okay, so which are used both for breeding, that is to provide milk, as well as for the farm work. So here you have some information bit. So indigenous draft breeds native to Tamil Nadu. The first one is Kangeyam. It is originated in Kangeyam and is observed in Dharmapuram, Perundurai, Erode, Bhavani and part of Gobichettipalayam Taluk of Erode and Coimbatore district. And the next one is Pulikulam. This breed is commonly seen in Kumbam Valley of Madurai district in Tamil Nadu. It is also known as Jallikattu Madu. They are mainly used for penning in the field and useful for ploughing. Composition of cattle field. A food requirement for cattle should support healthy life of the animal and milk producing requirement. The feed for dairy cattle is broadly classified into two, that is roughages and concentrates. Okay, the feed, how do you prepare feed? How do you feed the dairy cattle? It is classified into two stages, that is roughages and concentrates. So what is roughage? It is a coarse and fibrous fodder. It consists of succulent feed, that is cultivated grass fodder and root crops, and dry fodder, hay, straw and chaff. These food items are called as roughage. Okay. So what are concentrates? Are the low in fiber and contain high level of carbohydrates, protein and other nutrients. This will be low in fiber but rich in carbohydrates, protein and other nutrients. A variety of raw materials such as cholam, kambu, ragi, rice bran, wheat bran, cotton seed cake, mustard cake, linseed cake and groundnut cake, mango seed, neem cake and yellow cake can be used to make concrete feed. So they should also be fed on green fodder, that is maize, lucerne, besim, millet and elephant grass. Okay, so now we will see some of the pictures of the cattle breeds. So Holstein Friesian, Curran Swiss, then you have Jersey, Brown Swiss, and here you have Sahiwal, Gir, then Concourage and Red Sindhi. Okay, these are the cattle breeds. So now we will see the feed management of these dairy cattle animals. The dairy cattle need balanced rations containing all nutrients in proportional amounts and food additives which contain minerals, vitamins and antibiotics. So the dairy average feed ratio of a milking cow is, see these points, 15 to 25 kg of roughage. Okay, then 4 to 5 kg of grain mixture and 100 to 150 liters of water. So how do we improve the livestock development in India? Improved breeding techniques in cattle have tremendously increased the production of new breeds with high capacities and intensive cattle development program. See the program for this cattle breeds. It is based on crossbreeding of indigenous cows with exotic breeds to increase milk production. New methods and modern equipments are available for machine milking of cows. Then Operation Flood program, it is based on dairy commodity aid to increase milk supply in urban areas. So these are the methods which we follow to increase and the supply of milk production. Okay. So now the cattle breed topic have been over. Now we will see aquaculture. So what is aquaculture? Aquaculture is the rearing of economically important aquatic organisms like fishes, prawns, shrimps, crabs, lobsters, edible oysters and pure oysters, seaweeds under controlled and confined environmental conditions using advanced technologies. 2-mark question, define aquaculture. Okay. So now we will see types of aquaculture. Aquaculture is classified into 2 types: freshwater aquaculture and marine water aquaculture, that is mariculture. So what is freshwater aquaculture? The rearing of aquatic organisms in freshwater is called freshwater aquaculture. We are growing of aquatic organisms in freshwater. Okay, that is called as freshwater aquaculture. So the culture of organisms is carried out in pond, river, dam and cold water. This can be carried out in pond. Freshwater means pond, river, dam, lake and cold water. These freshwater resources remain within the land. So tilapia, carps, that is cutla, ragu, marigal and catfishes, air-breathing fishes are cultured in freshwater. Okay. So next we will see marine water aquaculture. What is marine water aquaculture? So the cultivation of aquatic organism is in sea water. Marine means sea, right? So the cultivation in sea water. So this is also referred as mariculture or sea farming. A culture of organisms is carried out along the sea coast deep in the sea. Organisms like shrimps, pure or same, edible oysters, mussels and fin fishes like salmons and sea bass, milk fishes and mullets are cultured in marine water. Prospects of aquaculture. It has become the fastest growing food producing sector to meet the demands of food and nutrients to growing the population through increased production for aquatic food resources. Aims at blue revolution. This is called as blue revolution. So it is a major source of export and foreign exchange earning for the country. So it generates employment through fish farming in a rural and underdeveloped area. Okay. The next, pisciculture or fish culture is the process of breeding and rearing of fishes in ponds, reservoirs, lakes and then rivers and paddy fields. It is the farming of economically important fishes under controlled conditions. Pisciculture. The aquaculture and pisciculture are more or less same. Okay, aquaculture is on two types. That is, one is freshwater aquaculture, other is marine water aquaculture. Whereas pisciculture, the fish culture, is the process of breeding and rearing fishes in ponds, reservoirs, lakes, rivers, and paddy fields. So, types of fish culture. Extensive fish culture. Culture of fishes in large areas with low stocking density and natural feeding. Intensive fish culture is in small areas with high stocking density and providing artificial feed to increase the production. Then next one is monoculture. So monoculture is nothing but it is the culture of a single type of fish in a water body. It is also called monospecies culture. Polyculture, more than one type of fish in the water body. Then integrated fish farming, it is the culture of fishes along with agricultural crops or animals. Husbandry farming, rearing of fish along with paddy, poultry, cattle, pig and ducks. Types of ponds for fish culture. Fish farm requires different types of pond for the reservoirs. Okay, development stages of fish growth, and they are given below here. Breeding pond, hatching pits. So first, what is breeding pond? Healthy and sexually mature male and female fishes are collected and introduced in this pond for breeding. The eggs released by the female are fertilized by the sperm, and fertilized eggs floats in water as frothy mass. The next, hatching pits, where the eggs have to hatch, isn't it? So the fertilized eggs are transferred to hatching pits or hatching happas for hatching. So next is nursery ponds. Growing the small ones, the younger ones, is called as nurserying. So the hatchlings are transferred, the younger fish are transferred from hatching pits after 2 to 7 days. Hatchling grow into fry and are cultured in these ponds for about 60 days with the proper feeding till they reach 2 to 2.5 centimeter in length. Next, rearing ponds. What are rearing ponds? Rearing ponds are used to culture the fry. The fish fry are transferred from nursery pond to rearing ponds and are maintained for about 3 months till they reach 10 to 15 centimeter in length. In these rearing ponds, the fry develops into fingerlings. This is called as fingerlings. Okay, rearing ponds are used to culture the fry, and these fry grows up to 10 to 15 centimeter in length, and it is called as fingerlings. The next is stocking pond. It's also called as culture pond or production pond. These ponds are used for rear fingerlings up to the marketable size, the last stage. Okay, so these are the steps for the growing of the breeding fishes. So next we will see cultivable food fishes. The freshwater cultivable fishes, Indian major carps, kendai, katla, rohu, mrigal, catfishes, skeluti, that is catfish means skeluti, murals, viral and tilapia, jalebi, kendai are cultured in fresh water. The marine water cultivable fishes may be asked in 2 mark question, children. So you have to remember the name of the fishes. Okay, sea bass, koduva, grey mullet, madavai and chanas milkfish are the fishes cultured in marine water. The nutritional value of fishes. Cultivable freshwater and marine food fishes are highly nutritious, rich source of animal proteins and are easily digestible. They are rich in essential amino acids such as lysine and methionine, polyunsaturated fatty acid such as lysine and methionine, polyunsaturated fatty acid, that is PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid. So these are the things that are rich in essential, the fishes that are rich in amino acids, lysine and methionine, polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFA. So minerals like, and these are also rich in minerals like phosphorus, calcium, iron, sodium, potassium and magnesium. Fat soluble vitamins A, D and water soluble B complex vitamins like pyridoxine, cyanobalamine and niacin. So these are the things which we get when we consume fishes. Okay. So if you have time, please visit locality and collect information about the different types of pond. You see different varieties of fishes in the pond, types of feed and their ingredients used to prepare food. So prawn culture. One of the most economically important shellfish resources of India are prawns. They are of great demand both in local and international market, and due to their great taste they are cherished delicately to be served as a food. Okay, and the marketing avenues in foreign countries, there is a need for developing advanced technology and intensify prawn culture in India. So what are the types of prawns culture here? Number of species of prawns of different sizes are found distributed in water resources. Only those prawns which are good in size, weight, availability in plenty and easily cultivable are commonly selected for prawn culture on commercial basis. Let me see some pictures of these fishes. This is Katla, Rohu, Labio, Rohita. Then Mrigal, Sirhanus, Mrigalo, sea bass, grey mullet and milk fish. Okay. So now we will continue this prawn culture. Marine water prawn culture. Marine water prawn culture. The rearing of marine peonide prawn is called marine prawn culture or shrimp culture. So both are same. Shrimp and prawn both are same. Era in Tamil we call era. So Panaeus indicus and Panaeus monodon are cultured in marine water. Freshwater prawn culture. The rearing of freshwater prawn is called freshwater prawn culture. Macrobrachium rosenbergi and Macrobrachium malcolmsoni are cultured in fresh water. So this is the picture for Macrobrachium rosenbergi, freshwater prawn. Methods of prawn culture. There are two methods: seed collection and hatchery method, and paddy cum prawn culture method. The seed collection we'll see little brief. The larvae and juveniles obtained by collection from natural resources or by hatchery methods. They are reared and grown in adults. The next is paddy cum prawn culture. Paddy cum prawn culture. It is also called pokali culture. It is the oldest and traditional method of prawn culture practiced in Kerala. Low-lying paddy fields along the coastal areas serve as suitable grounds for prawn culture. Prawns are cultured in these fields after the harvest of paddy. So next is vermitechnology. Awareness of organic matter and concept of sustainable agriculture in gaining importance among our farmers in the recent years to produce good quality crops. Maintenance of soil organic matter is very important for sustainable productivity, and this is attained by vermitechnology. So what is vermitechnology? It involves artificial rearing or cultivation of earthworms and using them for the production of compost from natural organic waste. So what is vermiculture? It is nothing but artificial rearing or cultivation of earthworms. We are going to cultivate earthworms and use them for the production of compost from natural organic waste. So earthworm species used for vermiculture. So what are the types of earthworm we use for this preparation of compost? Earthworms used for vermicompost production are Paranax excavatus, that is Indian blowworm, then Eisenia fetida, red worms, then Eudrilus eugeneae, African night crawler. One is Indian blueworm, redworm and African night crawler. Okay, so what is vermicomposting? It is an important component of organic farming which can convert bio-waste into nutrient-rich organic manure by using earthworms. It feeds on the organic waste. See the pictures of the earthworms here. This is Eudrilus eugeneae. Then Pyronoxy excavatus. This is Eisenia fetida. So earthworm species for vermicomposting and excrete in digested form known as castings. The compost is generally called vermicompost. Okay. So vermicompost. What is vermicompost? It is the excreta, worm castings, which is fine granular organic matter formed by the decomposition of organic materials by the earthworm. It is by the earthworm and it is an ideal fertilizer for the soil. So vermicomposting materials. So what are the materials that we use for the preparation of this vermicompost? The 4-mark question. Okay, important question. Vermicomposting materials. So biologically degradable organic waste are used in potential organic resources for vermicomposting, and they are agricultural waste, crop residue, vegetable waste, sugarcane, trash. Agricultural waste. The first one is agricultural waste. Then crop residues, rice straw, tea waste, cereal and pulse residues, rice husk, tobacco waste, coir waste. Then leaf litter waste, leaves. Okay. Then fruit and vegetable waste. Animal waste, that is cattle dung, poultry droppings, pig slurry, goat and sheep droppings. Then biogas slurry. So these are the things which we use, materials which we use for preparation of vermicompost. The vermicomposting by bin method. There are methods to prepare this vermicompost. So first is vermicompost, that is prepared using bin method. It is the rearing of earthworms in a container or a bin. The container is half filled with bedding materials such as shredded cardboard, leaves, paddy husks, chopped straw, sawdust and manure. Small quantity of soil and sand is added to provide necessary grit for the worms. A bedding material should be moistened by adding water that enables free movements of the worms. Worms are gently placed and spread evenly on the bedding. Organic waste, that is kitchen waste, vegetable and fruit waste are added, which are fed by the earthworms. Bin is covered with account of leaves or gunny bags to conserve moisture, provide darkness and keep out of pests. After a period of 60 days, the waste are completely transformed into nutrient-rich materials that are excreted by earthworms known as worm castings. What is worm casting? 2 mark question. After a period of 60 days, waste are completely transformed into nutrient-rich materials that are excreted by the earthworms, are known as worm casting. So these castings are harvested, used in organic manure. See the picture of vermicomposting bin. So here you have organic waste, worm breeding, earthworms, coarse gravel, support blocks of timber frame, screen outlet, and here you have the worms, leaf coverings. Okay. So next is advantages of this vermicompost. So what are the advantages of vermicompost? So advantages of vermicompost is a dark brown color and similar to farmyard manure in color and appearance. This rich source, 4 mark question, again important question children. Advantages of vermicompost. A rich source of nutrients essential for plant growth. It makes the soil fertile. Okay, that is why we grow earthworm, right? To make the soil fertile. It improves the water holding capacity and helps to prevent soil erosion. It holds the water well, so soil erosion is avoided. It contains valuable vitamins, enzymes and growth regulator substances for increasing growth, vigor and yield of plants. It enhances decomposition of organic matter in soil. Improves decomposition of organic matter in the soil. Vermicompost is free from pathogens and toxic elements. Doesn't contain any chemicals, right? So it is free from pathogens and toxic elements. And vermicompost is rich in beneficial microflora. So next is apiculture. So what is apiculture? Rearing of honeybees called as apiculture. Apiculture, 2 mark question. Apiculture is the rearing of honeybee for honey, for the extraction of honey. It is also called beekeeping. It is a profitable rural based industry. Honeybees are domesticated by farmers to produce honey. The types of honeybee. We have varieties of honeybees, right? Queen bees, we have worker bees, drone bees. So first is queen bee. Queen bee is the largest number which lay eggs. Okay, it is a female one. It is the head of the colony and they are formed for fertile eggs. The queen is responsible for laying eggs in a colony. Then drones. What are drones? Fertile males. They develop from unfertilized eggs and they are larger than the workers and smaller than the queens. Their main function is to fertilize the eggs produced by the queen. Then worker bees. What are worker bees? They are sterile female bees, and the smallest member of the colony. Their function is to collect honey, look after the young ones, clean the comb, defend and hive, the maintain temperature of the bee hive. See, a worker bees does more work. Okay, it protects the comb, it cleans everything. So see the picture, queen is the largest one, head of the colony, then this is the worker bee and this is the male one. Okay, this is female, this is male, and this is also female bee, which is the smallest bee in the colony. So next is varieties of honey bee. So there are indigenous varieties and exotic varieties. There are two types of varieties, indigenous variety and exotic variety. So what are indigenous varieties? Apis dorsata, that is rock bee or wild bee. Apis flora, little bee. Apis indica, Indian bee. Then exotic varieties are Apis mellifera, Apis adamsoni. Okay, the structure of bee comb. The comb of these bees is formed mainly by the secretion of the wax glands present in the abdomen of the worker bee. A comb is a vertical sheet of wax with a double layer of hexagonal cells and formation of honey. The honey bees suck the nectar from various flowers. The nectar passes to the honey sac. In the honey sac, sucrose presence in the nectar mixes with acidic secretion, and by enzymatic action it is converted into honey, which is stored in the special chambers of the hive. The quality of honey depends upon the flowers available of the bee nectar and pollen collection. So with the help of the pollen, honey is getting secreted. Okay. So the production from honey bee. So honey, what is honey? So honey bees are used in the production of honey and bee wax. Other useful products obtained from honey bees are bee pollen, royal jelly, propolis and bee venom. So honey is a sweet, viscous, edible natural food product. Dextrose and sucrose gives sweet taste to the honey. So it is also contains amino acids, B complex vitamins, ascorbic acid, minerals. Formic acid is a preservative in honey. Okay, formic acid. So invertase is an enzyme present in the honey. This may ask in 1 mark. Invertase. Enzyme present in the honey is invertase. Acid is formic acid. Okay. It also contains amino acids, B complex vitamins, ascorbic acid and minerals. These are 1 mark question. So what are the uses of honey? This is a very important question. Uses of honey, 4 mark. It may ask in 4 mark or even in 7 mark question as an optional question. So honey has an antiseptic and antibacterial property. It is a blood purifier, helps in building up hemoglobin content in the blood. It is used in Ayurvedic and Unani system of medicines. It prevents cough, cold, fever, relieves sore throat. So it is a remedy. It is a remedy for ulcers of tongue, stomach and intestine. Ulcers for tongue, stomach and intestine. It enhances digestion and appetite. Okay, so there are more number of uses in the honey. So see this fact, honey bee visits 50 to 100 flowers during a collection trip. Average bee will make only 1/12 of the teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. 1 kilogram of honey contains 3200 calories and it is an energy rich food. That is why instead of sugar you can use honey in fruit juices and all, which is very good for your health. Okay. So we have come to the end of the lesson. So you have points to remember, important points and all given here. You can read the definitions. What is horticulture? Then how does the soil get fertile? The organic manures, predominantly derived from the plant debris, animal figures. Then mushroom cultivation is the technology. Okay. Then aquaculture, about pisciculture, dairy farming, aeroponics, then vermiculture, the involvement of the vermiculture, that is artificial cultivation of earthworms, using them for the production of compost from natural organic waste. We have glossaries, meanings for the important scientific words. So now we will discuss the book back questions here. Choose the correct answer. The production and management of fish is called pisciculture. Okay, pisciculture. Which one of the following is not an exotic breed of cow? Sahiwal. Which one of the following is an Italian species of honey bee? Apis mellifera. First one, Apis mellifera. Which one of the following is not an Indian major carp? Singhara. D. Singhara. Drones in the honeybee colony are formed from unfertilized egg. Unfertilized egg. Which of the following is a high milk yielding variety of cow? Holstein Friesian. Which Indian variety of honeybee is commonly used for apiculture? Apis indica. Apis indica. D. Dash is the method of growing plants without soil. Hydroponics. Hydroponics. It is hydroponics. Then the ninth one is a symbiotic association of fungi and vascular plants. Mycorrhiza. It is mycorrhiza. The plant body of mushroom is mycelium. Plant body of mushroom is mycelium. So next, fill in the blanks. Quinine drug is obtained from Synhora officinata. Okay, the answers will be uploaded as PDF to you. No need if you doesn't hear it properly. Okay. Carissa papaya leaf can cure dengue disease. It can cure dengue disease. Third one, vermicompost is a type of soil made by earthworms and microorganisms. Then fourth one is aquaculture refers to the culture of prawns, pure and edible oysters. Not prawn culture, it is aquaculture. Then fifth one, largest number in a honeybee hive is the queen bee. Right. Sixth one, dash is the preservative in honey. Formic acid is the preservative. Okay. Polyculture is the method of culturing different variety of fish in a water body. Third Roman, true or false? Mycorrhiza is an algae. No, false. It is a fungi. It is not an algae. It is a fungi. Okay, first one is false. It is not an algae. It is a fungi. Milch animals are used in agriculture and transport. That is also false. It is used in milch animals are used for the production. Okay, it is not used in agriculture. It is used for the production. So second one is also false. Apis florea is a rock bee. This is also false. Okay, this is also false. It is a little bee, not a rock bee. Then Ongol is an exotic breed of cattle. This is also false. It is a dual. It is used for dual purpose. Not an exotic breed. It is used for dual purpose. Okay. Then sheep manure contains high nutrients than farmyard manure. This is true. Fifth one is true. Then you have differentiate the following. Then match the following. We will discuss this. Match the following. Lobsters. Lobsters is shellfish. Lobster, shellfish. Then Katla. Katla, finfish. Katla is finfish. Then sea bass. Sea bass is marine fish. Sea bass is marine fish. Then oysters is pearl. We get pearl from oysters. Then fifth one is pokali. Pokali is paddy. Fifth one answer is paddy. Then Pleurotus species. Pleurotus species is a type of oyster mushroom. Then Sarpaganda. Sarpaganda is reserpine. Sarpaganda. Then olericulture is vegetable farming. Olericulture is vegetable farming, right? Rhytia tinctoria. The last one is psoriasis. Rhytia tinctoria is psoriasis. So then you have answer briefly. Now what are the answers you have to write in the classwork? No need to write this, fill in, choose, match and all in your classwork. So answer briefly. Types of vegetable garden. Second question. Fourth question, very important question. Enumerate the advantages of vermicompost over chemical fertilizer. Okay. First, second question, fourth question and sixth question. Second question, fourth question and sixth question. Classwork. Write these answers in your classwork. Then answer in detail. Define mushroom culture. Explain the mushroom cultivation method. Second question. Then you have a source of organic. Give an account of different types of fish. Fifth question, classify the different breed of the cattle with suitable examples. So second question and fifth question in your classwork. Okay, second question and fifth question, detailed answers from your in the classwork. Higher order thinkings, you have 2 questions. No need to write in the classwork, but it is important. You must go through these questions. Okay, is that clear, children? So whatever questions we are asking you to write in the classwork are important questions which you must read. Okay, that is why we ask you to write that in the classwork. Is that clear, children? So to finish up the classwork, submit it on Thursday. You can get your test note and your classworks by Thursday because your exam commences on Monday, right? So get back your test notes and classworks on Thursday. Have a good day, children. Thank you.